Okay, so today we're diving into a really, really creepy cold case
Oh, yeah.
from Houston, Texas.
Oh.
You know the 1965 icebox murders of Fred and Edwina Rogers?
Oh, wow.
You shared some articles with me from Houstonian Magazine, and all that's interesting, and
Right.
it's a wild one.
Yeah.
We're going to try to unpack all the details of this totally unsolved mystery.
Yeah, these articles are fascinating. Like you said,
Yeah.
they're disturbing, but
Yeah.
it's one of those cases that really sticks with people.
Yeah.
It makes you think about like how
Yeah.
even in normal everyday life, like something
Right.
truly awful could be happening.
Yeah. So let's set the scene a little bit.
Okay.
It's June 23rd, 1965.
Mm-hmm.
Edwina's nephew is starting to get worried because he hasn't heard from her.
Right.
So he calls the cops and asks for a welfare check
Okay.
at the Rogers house in Montrose.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can imagine, right? The cops are thinking,
Yeah.
maybe it's an elderly couple who need help.
Right. Right.
Maybe they've fallen or something. But what they find is
Yeah.
straight out of a horror film.
Yeah, when they open the refrigerator, I mean, just imagine that moment.
Okay.
They're expecting to find,
Yeah.
maybe some spoiled milk or something.
Oh, right, exactly.
But instead, they see all this, what they think is like butchered meat.
I know.
It's just stacks of it.
Yeah, and it's not animal meat.
Right.
It's human.
Oh, God, that's awful.
It's totally wild.
Yeah.
The refrigerator and freezer are full of these cut-up body parts,
Wow.
washed clean and cut into
Really?
these really small pieces,
Oh, my gosh.
all unwrapped.
That's so disturbing.
It's awful. And then to make matters worse, they open the crisper drawer and they find the heads of Fred and Edwina Rogers.
That is so creepy. It's awful.
They're like something you would see in a movie.
Right. It's clear that this was not some kind of like heat of the moment thing.
Right,
This
yeah.
was planned.
Totally, yeah, like a crime of passion.
Yeah.
This is not.
No.
So the medical examiner, I mean,
They looked at all of this, and it paints this really like chilling picture, right?
yeah.
Edwina, she had been shot in the head, and
Yeah.
Fred had been beaten to death with a hammer.
Wow.
But then whoever did this, they took all this time to cut up the bodies.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a hack job or anything.
Right.
The medical examiner actually said that it was a fairly neat job.
Basically.
Yeah, meaning that whoever did this, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like they had some kind of knowledge of anatomy,
Wow.
and they weren't in a hurry. They took their time.
Yeah.
It's scary to think about.
It's really disturbing.
It's like they were almost like,
Yeah.
I don't know, methodical about it or something.
It's a very strange.
It's like a level of control that you wouldn't expect
Yeah.
in a situation like that.
Yeah, and it gets even creepier.
Oh, no.
When you read about what they did to Fred,
Oh, God.
all that's interesting says that they took out his eyes and his genitals.
Oh, my God.
And they even flushed his intestines down the toilet.
Ugh, that is so awful.
It's awful.
You know, like beyond just killing someone.
Yeah.
It's like they were trying to humiliate him or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of rage would drive someone to do something like that.
Yeah. It's like a total violation.
Absolutely.
And so, of course, almost immediately,
Yeah.
the police start looking at their son, Charles Rogers.
Okay.
He was 43 years old at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and he lived with his parents, but he was super reclusive.
Right.
He would communicate with his parents by slipping notes under his door,
Really?
and the neighbors almost never saw him.
Wow.
It's like he was living in his own little world.
It's strange.
So he was an obvious person of interest.
yeah, like right away he stands out as
Yeah.
someone who's different or,
Yeah.
not quite right.
And then the cops found blood on the keyhole of his bedroom door,
Really?
and he was nowhere to be found.
Oh, wow.
So, of course, they launched this huge manhunt
Right.
to find him.
Yeah. You know when something terrible happens in your house
Yeah.
and you just disappear?
Right.
It looks pretty suspicious.
Exactly.
So what happened? Did they ever catch him?
So that's the crazy part.
Okay.
Charles Rogers was never seen again.
What?
He just vanished.
Are you serious?
I know, it's crazy, right?
That's wild. So they never found him.
Never.
So he just like disappeared into thin air.
Yep. After 10 years, they declared him legally dead in 1975.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
I know, it's like, how do you just disappear?
Right, like did he have help? Did he plan this?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to imagine someone just vanishing like that,
It's so strange.
especially after such a horrific crime.
Exactly.
So is this guy just some random crazy person or what?
Well, so that's another weird thing.
Okay.
Charles Rogers wasn't exactly who you'd picture as a murderer.
Really?
Yeah, he was a World War II veteran,
Mm-hmm.
and he had a degree in nuclear physics.
Wow.
And he worked as a seismologist for Shell Oil. for almost a decade.
A nuclear physicist.
Yeah.
That's not what I would have expected.
I know, it's weird, right?
Yeah, you don't really think of a scientist as being capable of something like this.
Yeah, it doesn't really fit the profile, does it?
No.
And then again, like someone with his background
Yeah.
would have been very methodical and organized.
True.
And that kind of fits with how the crime scene was.
Right. He would have understood planning and precision.
Right.
Which is definitely something that was on display
Yeah.
at that crime scene.
Yeah, so it's all very contradictory.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
It's like he was this accomplished professional,
right.
but also this total recluse.
Yeah, so bizarre.
Yeah, and those articles talk about how
Yeah.
his routine was really weird.
What do you mean?
He would leave the house before dawn and come back after dark.
Oh, wow.
And no one even knew if he was still working at Shell or not.
Really?
Yeah, it was like he was a ghost.
That's creepy.
Bell.
And he only communicated with his parents through those notes. Yeah. It's like he was completely isolated from the world.
Exactly.
So what could have driven this guy to do something so horrific?
So there's this couple,
Okay.
Hugh and Martha Gardier,
Mm-hmm.
and they reinvestigated the case.
Really?
Yeah, and they wrote this ebook about it.
Oh, wow.
And their theory is that Charles had been abused by his parents for years.
Like physical and emotional abuse.
Yeah, both.
Wow.
Even into adulthood.
That's terrible.
Yeah. And they also think that Fred and Edwina were taking advantage of Charles financially.
No, really?
Yeah. Edwina would forge his signature on land deeds
Wow.
and take out loans on the house.
But the house belonged to Charles.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So their theory is that Charles finally just snapped.
Yeah, I mean, if that's true, it's not hard to imagine why he might have done something like this.
Yeah, it would have been like this pressure cooker of resentment.
Right, exactly.
Building up for years.
Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
So this couple, they think that the abuse and the financial stuff, that was the motive for the murders.
Yeah. And they also have a theory about how Charles disappeared.
Okay, what is it?
They think that he fled to Central America.
Really?
Yeah, maybe he used his connections from Shell Oil to get a job down there.
Interesting.
And they even think that he might have died in Honduras.
What?
Yeah, they think that maybe some miners killed him with a pickaxe.
Wow, that's intense.
I know, it's wild.
So they think he was murdered too?
Yeah.
Wow.
A pretty compelling theory.
It is, yeah. It would explain why no one ever found him.
Right.
But is there any proof of any of this?
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's just a theory.
Right.
There's no concrete evidence to prove that he went to Central America or that he died there.
So it's possible, but...
Right. It could be true, but there's no way to know for sure.
Yeah. It makes sense, though.
Yeah.
It gets together.
And then there's this other, even weirder theory.
Oh, no, what now?
That links this case to the JFK assassination.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I know. It sounds crazy.
That's wild.
There's this book from 1992 called The Man on the Grassy Knoll.
Mm-hmm.
And the author claims that Charles Rogers was one of the tramps.
What are the tramps?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They were these three guys who were seen in Dealey Plaza when Kennedy was shot.
Oh, okay.
And they were like immediately taken into custody
Uh-huh.
and then just as quickly released.
Okay.
And their identities have never been officially confirmed.
Right. So this author thinks that Charles Rogers was one of them.
Yeah.
What makes him think that?
Well, apparently there are some photos
Okay.
where Charles looks kind of similar
Uh-huh.
to one of the tramps.
Hmm.
And the theory is that Charles was involved in the assassination somehow.
Wow.
And that he kept a diary
Mm-hmm.
with all this incriminating information in it.
Okay.
And that his parents found the diary.
Oh, wow.
And that's why he killed them.
That's quite a theory.
I know. It's pretty out there.
It's like a conspiracy theory on top of a murder mystery. But is there any evidence to support it?
Not really.
Okay.
It's mostly based on speculation.
Right.
And those photos where Charles supposedly looks like one of the tramps.
Yeah.
But even that's a stretch.
So it's interesting, but
Yeah.
probably not very likely.
Right.
It's like one of those things that sounds good on paper,
Yeah.
but when you actually look at the facts,
Right.
it falls apart.
Exactly.
It's much more likely that the Gardeniers are right
Yeah.
about the abuse and the money being the motive.
Right.
But even that is just the theory.
Yeah. Sadly.
Yeah.
Despite all these theories and all these investigations,
Yeah.
we still don't know for sure who killed Fred and Edwina Rogers.
Wow. So this case is still completely unsolved.
Totally unsolved.
That's frustrating.
Sad.
Like, you want to know what really happened. You
Yeah.
want to know who did it and why.
Exactly.
But sometimes those answers just aren't there.
So let's try to summarize what we know. This horrible discovery happens in the Rogers house in Montrose.
Mm-hmm.
Fred and Edwina are found dead,
Right.
dismembered, and put in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
And right away, the police suspect their son, Charles.
Who was living this very strange, isolated life.
Yeah.
His parents.
And then there's the motive that Hugh and Martha Gardenier came up with.
Right, the abuse and the financial manipulation.
Right. It seems very plausible.
Yeah, it does.
But it's still unconfirmed.
Right.
And then, of course, there's the mystery of Charles's disappearance.
Right, just poof, gone.
He just vanishes.
So many unanswered questions.
I know, and it's been almost 60 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
I know, it's crazy to think about.
Yeah, and then you have these theories.
Yeah.
Like the one connecting him to the JFK assassination.
Right.
Which is fascinating, but probably not true.
Right.
It just shows how much this case has captured people's imaginations.
It really has.
People want answers.
They do.
Even if those answers don't really exist.
So after looking at all of this, I guess the big question is, what really happened in that house on Father's Day in 1965?
Yeah.
How could someone do something so awful and then just disappear?
It's mind-boggling.
It is.
You know, it makes you wonder about the darkness that can hide in ordinary people. Like how someone could be living this seemingly normal life.
Yeah.
And then do something so monstrous.
It's really disturbing.
Yeah, it's a reminder that we never really know what's going on behind closed doors.
Yeah, and that some mysteries might never be solved.
That's a chilling thought.
It is.
So what do you think
about this case?
Yeah, what struck you the most about it?
I mean, honestly, the whole thing is just so unsettling.
Yeah.
But I think the part that gets to me the most is the level of planning.
Right.
It's clear that whoever did this thought it out very carefully.
Right.
And that's just so creepy to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like they were playing a game or something, and it's just so disturbing.
Yeah, it's a case that really sticks with you.
Definitely.
And so on that note, we're going to leave you to ponder the Icebox murders.
Yeah.
What do you think happened?
Right.
And how did Charles Rogers just disappear?
It's a mystery for the ages.
It really is.
Thanks for diving into this with me.
Of course. Thanks for joining us.
And to everyone listening.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming along on this deep dive.